Coach Ball here. I want to welcome you to the 2021 Highland Wrestling Parent Meeting. I apologize that we weren't able to get something together in person. Obviously, that's I think everyone's preferred method, but right now it's just not. It's not feasible, unfortunately, with the current state of COVID. I want to start by talking about what we've done so far. I want to go through the rules packet. Help you with finding the schedule, show everybody the Remind app, which is going to be the primary means of communication. And then again, at the end, if anybody has questions, please make sure to email myself or Mr. Fink in regard to anything that I covered today. So first and foremost, last Thursday and Friday, all of our kids passed the hydration testing that the state requires in order to basically give a kid a descent plan, which lays out a plan for what a kid can weigh each week. So if you look down to this individual, his initial weight was 128 pounds. He can lose 2 pounds per week. This is the week of the assessment, and then practice week, and then here's the week of our first competition, which is week 4. Eligible weight for Jack is 122 pounds, which means the 2 weight classes that he's eligible to wrestle the first week of competition are 126 pounds and 132 pounds. And then it just kind of goes down the line and tells you each week what this individual can safely weigh according to their body fat and the National Federation of High School rule, which states that wrestlers are limited to an average weight loss of 1.5% each week. So each one of your kids is going to come home with a descent plan. The tricky thing about this is if they weigh in or they break their descent plan on a given week, this thing will regenerate. So it's important that, as coaches, we communicate to kids, where we want them to weigh, but also your kid is accountable and follows through with their plan, depending on whatever it is that's decided between your son or daughter and the coaching staff. We're not expecting every single kid to get to their very minimum weight. That's not what this is about. But it's about, here's a plan. What do you think of it? What do you feel like your ideal weight is? And then, have an input from the kid and have an input from the coaches to make sure that, it's the right plan and the right, that each kid gets to the right weight. So this is a descent plan. I want to go now into the rules packet. Drink the Kool-Aid, just kind of our theme, kind of our brand. The idea behind drinking the Kool-Aid is that, we're expecting kids to do the right things on and off the mat, to be respectful of each other, to get their schoolwork done, to respect their teachers, and ultimately buy into something that, this program is based around making kids better wrestlers, but more importantly, making them better men and women. And that's the idea behind drinking the Kool-Aid. Another one of our brands or kind of themes for the year is hashtag FAEC, which, to break it down, the 4 things we're looking for out of our athletes are focus, attitude, effort, and to compete. If you want to get better at something, regardless of what it is, you got to have that little fire, that little, competitive fire. You got to be willing to put forth effort, have a good attitude, and focus on what you're doing. Here are the rules. Practice is going to be at 3:45 sharp. And when I say sharp, I mean I want kids on the mat ready to go at 3:45. In clean clothes, we had a terrible year last year with ringworm. And, with COVID stuff, we're doing 4 times as much sanitation as normal. But if your son or daughter isn't committed to showering, they're going to get ringworm. And showering quickly after a workout. and having clean clothes every single day. Ringworm is a skin rash that spreads rapidly. And unfortunately, when one kid has it, everybody's going to get it. So we need everybody committed to making sure that they have clean clothes, that they're showering, preferably at school after practice. Whether it's just rinsing off and then going home and taking a better shower afterwards. Really, really would like to see the kids shower at school to prevent the spread of any skin disease. Kids have to have appropriate forms on file. We talk a lot about accountability. We need your kids there. One of my pet peeves is no call, no show. Just deciding not to go and not letting anybody know where you're at. There's been times where if a kid no call, no shows, and doesn't have a good reason, I'll suspend them for a meet. These are all rules that I've laid out, but at the same point in time, this all comes down to coach's discretion. And, it's extremely important to me that kids are good communicators. And if you're not going to be at something, you got to let a coach know, and it needs to be for good reason. We'll follow the academic eligibility stuff that's set forth with the school. Try to limit profanity. I lose my cool from time to time. I'm guilty. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a perfect angel in terms of the language that I use. But, the goal is that we're setting an example for our middle school wrestlers and our youth wrestlers. And so, having those kids watching a practice or being around a practice where kids are, dropping F-bombs and stuff, it's not going to happen. We want to represent our school and this program the right way and to model, drinking the Kool-Aid in everything that we do. If a kid wants to ride home with their parents from meets, they got to make sure they sign out with a team manager. Wrestlers will not wear anything in meets that may draw attention to themselves. And examples would be like neon socks, inappropriate material. And back again to the idea of drinking the Kool-Aid. It's important that team members are going to treat each other with respect. And as coaches, we're going to monitor that and make sure that it's happening. Finally, social media stuff. I push this with the kids just because I've seen how, what you post on social media can impact your life. Whether it comes down to, a job that you've applied for or a college scholarship or, the stuff that you post on social media never goes away, and it can be extremely incriminating. So assume nothing is private and remember that your audience is vast and that social media is a microphone to the world. That being said, do not post anything detrimental to the team or to the school on social media. Do not talk to opponents on social media and do not respond or retweet inappropriate material. What you do on social media is a reflection of character. With this program, we go by a 3-strike policy, and a violation is a strike, 3 strikes, and the individual will be removed from the team. Again, coach's discretion also factors into some of this. We just simply ask that your son or daughter commits to the program and commits to representing Highland and the wrestling program the right way and takes pride in the fact that they're a part of this program. Our 5 pillars are: I will compete with courage, I believe in my abilities, I can control the controllable, I will practice with a purpose, and I will stay in the right here, right now. Wrestling is a physical sport, but at the same point in time, it's extremely mental. And, I would say for me, in my experience with the sport, the discipline and the accountability and the mental toughness that I learned was far, it was the best thing that I've taken from the sport. That's why we spend a lot of time with mental stuff, bringing the mental aspect around as much as we do the physical. And this pillars thing kind of falls into that. Having the confidence to go out and do your very best and control what you can control and just believe in yourself. Those are the types of things that wrestling instills in anybody that participates in it. That's the rules packet. A couple other things I want to cover. If you see here the link to COVID-19 guidance that's put down by the state of Iowa, you can read through this on your own. A lot of it's considerations. Just know that as a coaching staff, we're doing everything humanly possible to sanitize and make sure that we can have a season. If you want a schedule to know when meets are happening, if you go to the school website and you click on calendar, and go down here to activities calendar. View schedules, scroll down to varsity wrestling. You can take a look at meets, what time they start and where they're at. The Remind app is something else I want to cover. I'd love to have every wrestler and parent on the Remind app. You download it on your phone or create an account on the computer, and you just simply punch in the class code at 72EAKA. That, I'm hoping will be our primary means of communication, to where, everything we do is going to go and communicate. It's going to go through this app. So you can get on there. That would be extremely helpful. Do know that, and this is kind of what I communicated to the kids on the first and only day that we've had to train, is that we just simply have to control what we can control. No one really knows what's going to happen with COVID. We're doing the very best we can to encourage our kids to just stay in the moment and, be grateful for the opportunity to train. Unfortunately, when we're online for school, we cannot have practices. And that's a state mandate, so there's not a whole lot we can do about that. I think that's all I've got. If you have any questions or concerns about anything, don't hesitate to contact me or Mr. Fink. And again, encourage your son or daughter to do what they can do to stop the spread of COVID, to minimize their chances of being quarantined or testing positive. We want to have a season. As coaches, we want the opportunity to positively impact your athlete. And, the bottom line is, we want to do everything humanly possible to have a season. Thanks for listening. I appreciate those who've attended, and go Huskies.